and welcome again to another episode of SoulFire Fridays. My name is Webby. I'm the founder of SoulFire Inspiration, and the work that I do here is to set your soul on fire and therefore inspire you to live intentionally and purposefully. The whole point of everything I do here is to see you live your best life and be everything that you're meant to be. That gives me joy, that excites me, and it gets me out of bed. So here we are again in continuing the conversation about overcoming fear. Now, this is something that we're all very familiar with, and many of us, I'd say, have been victims of fear, living a life that is way below the potential that has been deposited on our inside, because this thing called fear makes us afraid to try new, to go into uncharted land, or to be a version of ourselves that perhaps doesn't look very familiar given where we're coming from. Well, this week I focused on reflecting on this fear that's a part of, actually, I don't know if I can say a part of fear, but one manifestation of fear. And I thought that if we could begin to understand what makes us afraid about this, then maybe we'd stand a better chance of overcoming it and living our lives from a place of strength. This week the conversation has been about the fear of failure. Now, I had to look really deep for this one because I've experienced the fear of failure. I have struggled with the fear of failure many times. In fact, over the few short years that I've been privileged to be in the creative industry as a live performing and recording artist and an instrumentalist, I've struggled with fear in as far as my creative output goes. When I put my back into a new project, or when I write this new song, or when I'm trying to promote a new album, when I look back at all of my experiences, I realize that one of my biggest fears was that it would never do well. And by doing well, I mean it wouldn't permeate the market, it wouldn't generate good enough sales to pay back the cost that went into making it, and also to help sustain the expenses of life, because this is my work. I actually do this full time. And sometimes the fear of that, or the disappointment out of things not really going the way I've wanted them to go on many different occasions, has sometimes affected my desire to try new, to go ahead, to remain consistent. And I've had to take breaks every once in a while to just really find my why once again, and then get back into the ring. It's not that I don't want to do it, and I guess that this is also very true for many of us. It's not that you don't want to get back into the ring to do the thing that you're so passionate about. It's that you're afraid that it just will not go the way you hope that it would. And your expectation of success is not exactly guaranteed. Yes, it is likely you might get to where it is you're trying to go, but you're not sure that it will. Well, there are some reflections that I'd like to leave you with, and hopefully these can begin to invoke a paradigm shift in your thinking as far as failure is concerned. One of the key things that I've started to learn and I'm implementing into my life is to see failure as opportunity. Yes, nobody celebrates failure, that's true. Nobody looks at failure and says, "Come baby, come." But here's the thing, it's really more about a mindset and perspective. The best way to overcome failure, and rather the fear of failure, it's not failure, because no one's perfect, no one gets everything right all the time, but the fear of failure is what presents the challenge. So the best way to overcome the fear of failure is to begin to recognize that failure is really an opportunity to improve or to do better. It is not a final event. You should never camp in a place that was only meant to be a pit stop. Failure presents different opportunities to learn new lessons, and when you pick up these lessons and begin to see how they apply in regards to whatever it is you're trying to do, or wherever it is you're trying to go, or whatever it is you're trying to put in place, then it gives you a different perspective on how to go about it. I think a very wise person put it this way and said, "Foolishness is doing the same thing and expecting a different result." If you fail at doing something, then you must recognize that you're at the cusp of an opportunity to learn something new, a new way not to go about whatever it was you were trying to do. Rather, the presentation of the opportunity to pick on a different approach, a different perspective that allows you to see things from a different place and gives you a different piece of information, if you like. This way didn't work, so let's do it this way. Overcoming the fear of failure is really all about seeing the opportunities that failure creates when it happens. So when you begin to see failure differently, you stop feeling afraid of failing. And yes, failure can be discouraging, and there are many times when you almost feel as if, okay, I failed so many times, maybe it's time to quit. I always say this, and I say this to myself every day in different ways. If I'm still passionate about it, if I still believe that achieving success or accomplishing this, going full circle with whatever it is going to impact somebody and is going to bring value into their lives, then it is worth the sacrifice. If you have to fail so many times, then you just have that many more lessons to learn so that you learn to do it better. You come across those many more lessons that will add value in helping you to accomplish whatever it is you're trying to do in a better way. And you know what that is called? Wisdom. Wisdom doesn't happen in a void. You don't just, boom, all of a sudden you know some things. Well, there's that as far as spiritual gifts is concerned, but in the experience of everyday life, wisdom really does come by experience. In fact, it's been said this way, that experience is the best teacher. And I think that is quite true. The thing that wisdom will be for you is the understanding of how to do certain things, how not to do certain things, the timing of certain things, interpreting different seasons for different things, and also being able to create something that you can share with others and help them along the path, because everybody has a different struggle. It may be the same one, but it manifests in different ways. So to overcome the fear of failure, you've got to learn to embrace the opportunities that failure creates when it happens. You've got to appreciate that failure is really a redirection. It's not a final event, that you should never camp at a place that was only meant to be a pit stop. It's an event that will come and go, and when you cross over to the other side, you're much better for whatever it is your failure will have taught you. I hope this is helpful to you. I hope this adds some value to you along your journey towards whatever your definition of success is. Remember, fear is not your portion, and it is only limiting you from living your best life. My prayer for you is that you will live every bit the life that God has designed for you, and for you to live in every way that God has designed for you to live. I hope to see you next week as we continue this conversation on overcoming fear. But in the meantime, I bid you adieu. See you soon, and God bless.